Boy, boy, you're done well. Me have a girl and I can't see that chill. Boy, with a big head sleep again. Best nigga stick me know she there up in the kid. Boy, we are the call for play. Say she wanna listen to some coffee and chronic. The vibes are kinda different, but the girl is never panic. Kill two already, figured it out. I check top strike and I miss the one that I got be a classic. She said she never give it up in on the first night. She know one night stand, she had the right time. But even though she a band fit tight, me a celebrity, me know the fight fight. She said, "Ding, I want you, it not easy. But if you make me come, me know it, I no please me. Back to me, and I tell you no, but she not being it. Deep down, neatly, me know she freaky. The magnum a bust in her red now. Pretty little thing and she not come from town. Move to her, she telling me to slow down. And I say she want me do a song with Chris Brown. So change the topic, now that makes sense. How Chris Brown and sex now the same sentence. Some nigga style where you will try just a call for. Me could change the vibe and listen some Dexter. Maybe my AC turn up now with some rapper song I play. She finally give in and I start her foreplay. She said play up with the pet before the kitty run away. She a go give me but look another way. Because she said she never give it up in the first night. She know one night stand, she had the right time. But even though she a band fit tight, me a celebrity, me know the fight fight. She said, "Ding, I want you, me not easy. But if you make me come, me know it, I no please me. Back to me, and I tell you no, but she not mean it. Deep down, neatly, me know she freaky. I read game is a masterpiece, and when she ride the dog, she look like a beast. Pile up and he never release, and she say that too she like when she give me a piece. No, she tell me she go take a setter, cause the single way me give her, she not get no better. Can't believe say a man come broke a fella, make she give it up in less than 1 hour. She said she never give it up in the first night. She know one night stand, she had the right time. But even though she a band fit tight, me a celebrity, me know the fight fight. She said, "Ding, I want you, it not easy. But if you make me come, me know it, I no please me. Back to me, and I tell you no, but she not mean it. Deep down, neatly, me know she freaky. Me know she freaky, boy. Me know she freaky, boy. Say she not easy, boy. Me know she want it, boy. Me know she want it, boy. Boy. Me know she want it, boy.
Yeah. Hata majogoo wa mjini hawawiki, wakiwika jua nimepita na nikipita jua nimewavunja mashingo. Kukubero supu tunakunywa jogoro, kama niketi usinipe baridi. Napenda vitu moto dadi, utabiri wa hali ya hewa kahuja unajua kalijua. Kalikwenda kunanyesha mvua ya genge, usisimamishi kaha una mistari wenye hawana. Kuchorewa nikaha onekana wenye wamekafunga, wanachorewa namba kama 7 na madem piganane before warediwe kama 3 za Libera. Nimecheza chini sana round hii, nipeni mabawa, nipae chuka papa ndio nigiti na mabawa, kusimika masomo mabao, nipe magini na mandogo, kama tuna
If you love me, don't you let anybody touch that body, baby. No. If you really love me, you should give that body. Say for me, only me, exclusive for me, baby. Don't, and don't let me down, baby. Don't kiss another person, don't do another person. I'm greedy, you should know already that I'm greedy. Oh, I'm greedy. You should know that I'm greedy. Oh, I'm greedy. I'm greedy. I'm greedy. I'm greedy. Oh, I'm greedy. I'm greedy. I'm greedy. I'm and you really the only one. A lot of guys in my area wanna be the dead man. That's why I need a good girl, bad girl. Something like Rihanna in a miniskirt. She give me steady, all I'm call her Rihanna. Let's make a baby, we can call her Tiana. Oh, she, a bad girl. She give me steady, cause she know I'm a bad boy. Good girl, can bear. Baby, you's a good girl, can bear. Baby, you're a good girl, good girl. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. I'm greedy, 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 I'm greedy,
This is the Afrcan Radio, Liberia'S for the 21st century.
And Karibuni sana to the Black Hot Fire Radio Media for the 21st century. Even on a Monday, the 30th of August. And of course, we are saying bye-bye. Do you remember last week I did say that this month, rather these two days, I won't be counting because I do believe that the month of August actually it's over. And if you did not make anything positive out of yourself, Manze, you are failing, Manze, in this life. You are failing because considering the matters of economy, you should be setting some goals for yourself and challenging yourself in different ways. Nonetheless, Karibuni sana to the Pan-African Bliss. My name is Joby, and of course, this is the Black Hot Fire Network Media for the 21st century. 50 minutes past 11 a.m. in Nairobi. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Mine was super awesome. Please do remember to interact with us as you tell us how did you get to spend your weekend. This various past weekend that has just passed as the past in just a few hours. And as you interact with us, we are live right now on our Instagram page. Please, you can slide on the DM or rather interact with us live because we are interacting with you as you interact with us, telling us how you did get to spend your weekend and what are you looking forward, because the month of September is just here. And of course, on Wednesday, it will be the 1st of September. And we are ensuring, or rather looking forward. Personally, I'm looking forward to some positive vibes. I don't know about you, but as you interact with us, that is on our social media handles. We are on Facebook at the Black Hot Fire Network radio station, on Twitter, the Black Hot Fire Network, as you use the hashtag Pan-African Bliss with Joby and hashtag Black Hot Fire Network. And of course, you can tag us, or interact with us. As I said, we are live and interactive right now on our Instagram page. Karibuni sana once again. And of course, you can also call us in, SMS us or WhatsApp us at the +254 754 402 You can also get hold of us on our website. In case you are joining us for the first time, we want to welcome you. And of course, thank you for choosing the Black Hot Fire Radio. We want to welcome you and say Karibu sana. And, as you interact with us, as I said, we are on our website. That is at the www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. And once you log on to the website, it's been upgraded currently. And of course, you can interact with us as you tell us how was your weekend. And, you can also catch on with the shows that you might have missed, because here we get to discuss different matters, especially concerning the African continent and our African brothers and sisters, those who are in the diaspora, those who are in the US, and those who are also in Africa, in Nigeria, in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Zambia, Zimbabwe, and also here in the 254 itself. Karibuni sana once again. I can see we are, some people are interacting already, and I can see Mwanarabu Moody, and you're saying that the DJ Mood was here. Karibu sana. I don't know what you really mean, but I want to thank you for taking your time and joining us today. We are looking forward to an amazing show as you interact with us, and we hope that you'll be able to learn something at the end of the day or before the end of the show. Nonetheless, I can also see Robert Williams. You're saying one, and I want to welcome you. I hope you had a fantastic weekend, Robert Williams. Karibu sana. Thank you for choosing the Black Hot Fire Network Media for the 21st century. You can also download the app on the Google Play Store and get to enjoy these amazing vibes. And as you interact with us, you know how we start our day. And our day, we always love starting our day with positive vibes, because as I said, if the month of August is coming to an end and you've not made anything positive out of yourself, in this life of today, with the economy of today, with the government and the leaders that we have today, Manze, you just need to challenge yourself in different ways, because at the end of the day, you just need to, make the best out of yourself, make earn a living at the end of the day. And that is how we'll be going on. And how we start our day on the Pan African Bliss Show with some positive vibes. And today's vibes, today's an African proverb, an African proverb just to keep you motivated. And it's quite funny. I was just looking at it and I was just smiling to myself. And it goes by, if you think you are too small to make a difference, you haven't spent a night with a mosquito. Yeah, it says again, if you think you are too small to make a difference, you haven't spent a night with a mosquito. In this life, I keep on saying there are challenges at the end of the day. You're not the only person facing demerits. Life is really super hard, especially with the pandemic. It has really affected people. The pandemic, it has really affected a lot of people economically, social wise, with a lot of things, especially, let me just say, economics, because at the end of the day, we need money to survive, because that is how the Europeans made everything, especially in Africa. We did depend everything on our resources, but due to our everything is really going on right now with the world, with the corruption, with the system, the cartels who are in the in the world right now, rather in our governments today, with the people that we are living with today, we just need to, you need to motivate yourself. So if you think, the quote, I think majorly to me just means, if you think you are small, to make something out of yourself, if you just, disrespecting yourself, if you think, oh, I cannot fit in this one, I can't do this and this, why don't you try it first? Because have you ever spent a night with a mosquito? A mosquito can really be nagging, especially with the sound, especially when you're trying to sleep. Just this, it's really nagging. So to you, the Blackout 5 family, or whoever is really listening to us today, just challenge yourself despite the situation, and especially this coming month. If you've not made something out of yourself this particular month of August, ensure that as you approach September, approach it with some positive mind, some positivity out of yourself. And at the end of the day, you're gonna be proud of yourself. Do not allow the year to end the same way that you started, or the same way that it ended last year. Ensure that you've made something positive out of yourself. Nonetheless, this is the Pan African Bliss Show, and my name is Joby. Did get to play some amazing vibes, some dancehall, and that was by the one and only. He goes by the name Ding Dong, and the name of the song is Gali. So you can check that one out on YouTube. And of course, some dancehall music are really the way to go. And Africa, I can say black people are really doing the most. And I can say congratulations to Shin Sia. I'm a fan of Shin Sia, and she's all the way from Jamaica. And she did get to release our 2 songs from the Donda album, that is from Kanye West, by the one and only Kanye West. And I can say she's really doing great. She's going international, and I keep on saying each and every day we need to support talent. So for me, I really love Shinsia, and with the journey that she's really had, especially sometimes she does get to share the journey of how she really began becoming, or rather how she became an artist. She had a song that she had recorded some time back. Then she was serving people in a certain party. Then the DJ did get to play their music. The DJ knew it was Shinsia because she was serving people there. And of course, she had just given out the CD to play around. And, people were just listening and vibing to the music, but they didn't know it was her. But later on, right now, she's really, she's going platinum, and I'm just really proud of her at the end of the day. You can see sometimes, rather when you check back, sometimes you love criticizing these, the influencers, or rather the musician and stuff. But when you check onto the journey of how they really come so far, despite sometimes when they come around and they are signed into some record labels and stuff, and at the end of the day, they might end up changing and not becoming the same African person that they are, or rather, because of how I remember Keith telling me, or rather, how sometimes the record labels or the people whom you've really been assigned to, how they sometimes control your mind, how you eat, how you live your lifestyle, how to present yourself to people, the kind of music you're gonna give to people. But at the end of the day, personally, I love checking back onto the journey, how these people they began to becoming, or rather to reaching the point that they really are. Nonetheless, this is the Pan African. We should get to play you Zuba by the one and only Eagle Queen. I do say I love Eagle Queen so much, and I did also get to play You Greedy by Starkey's Darkos. And of course, we'll be getting a little bit much more onto some entertainment as we keep it here, the Black Hot Fire Network Media for this 21st century. And of course, once we get back, we're gonna take a short musical break. Once we get back, we're gonna be seeing what is happening in Zambia, in Nigeria, and of course, we're gonna be discussing the topic of today. It seems like Liberia is in a deep of a pit, rather some pit, because it seems right now that so many African nations that have been depending on the US. Let me say just most of the African nations that have been depending on the US, they are in a very deep pit, because right now it's with the way they our foods, rather how their foods or our leaders' food have been so into this depending of the US funds, of the US loans, of the US materials, and so many things. Right now it is really like it is about to hunt us, and it will be an effect even as to the citizens. And of course, I'll be updating you on that as we check what is really happening there in the in Liberia, and of course in Nigeria as well, and in Zambia, because last week we did get to see, or rather some 3 weeks ago, we did get to see that Zambia conducted its election, and of course Hakainde Chilema was pronounced as the winner. And the other week on Friday, you did get to see, rather on Friday, you did get to see him saying that he doesn't want any Zambian going to bed hungry, or rather youths going seeing youths loitering around because they are not employed. And we hoping that Zambia is going to make a change, or rather Hakainde Chilema is going to make Zambia a better nation. And of course, we'll be checking into that, what he has to say this week, because he has made some serious serious say, and we'll be checking into that. For now, I'll be playing you some jam, and this is by the one and only Lex the Wolf, Wabi Sabi, one of our favorites here on the Black Hot Fire Radio. We'll be right back after this short musical break.
Love knows.
I think I started something just the other day. Riding with my top down to life. I see how up in the street, my ten goes down. Now everybody running right race. Ten goes down. Listening to the rhythm of life. Sounds to me like the mountains. Like any damn move. Popoti, gone. Sure you no say everything there for you. Sure you no, everything there for you. Sure you no say I'm not there for you. Sure you no say. Sure you no. Hey. Every day I try to live my life. I can live in my mind, getting high. And you want it to stop my feet to fly. Riding on my head, getting by. Every day I try to live my life. Living in my mind, getting high. Every day I try to live my life. Every day I try to live my life. Every day I try to live my life. I can live in my mind, getting high. And you want it to stop my feet to fly. Riding on my head, getting by. Every day I try to live my life. Living in my mind, getting high. Every day I try to live my life. Every day I try to live my life. Are you ready or not? If you ready or not, dance together. Now the love every day. If you ready or not, dance together. I'm living my best life. I'm living my best life. Trying to get it up some more. Trying to get my money and more. Every day I try to live my life. I can live in my mind, getting high. And even in the stomach, it's a fly. Riding on my head, getting by. Every day I try to live my life. Living in my mind, getting high. Every day I try to live my life. Every day I try to live my life. Every day I try to live my life. I can live in my mind, getting high. And doing it to stop my feet to fly. Riding on my head, getting by. Every day I try to live my life. Living in my mind, getting high. Every day I try to live my life.
This is Black Radio, media for the 21st century.
Wabi by the one and only Lex the Wolf, all the way from Nigeria. And of course, some time back, he was hosted here on the Black Radio. And I hope that we'll be able to catch up with him sometime and get to see what he's doing, rather what is he planning on the next project that he has for us, because he has some amazing vibes. And of course, I'll be playing you more of his music, and in case you have missed out, or rather you want to know more of him, you can check him out on YouTube. Nonetheless, this is the Black Radio media for the 21st century, and of course you are listening to the Pan-African Bliss show. My name is Joby, and before that short musical break, I did get to say a little bit of what I'll be talking about today. And as you interact with us, we are live on and interactive, especially on our Instagram page. We are interacting with you straight as you get to tell us how did you get to spend your weekend, and of course as you engage with us on the topics of today. We are also live and interactive on our Facebook accounts, that is on at the Black Network radio station, on Facebook, Twitter as well, at the Black Network radio station. And you can use the Pan-African Bliss show hashtag, and of course hashtag Black Network. Nonetheless, Karibuni sana. And of course, we are looking forward to having an amazing discussion. In terms of Nigeria, I'm just going to go straight to the point. And for so long, we've seen that the matters of insecurities has really risen up in Nigeria. No matter how the government really tries to calm down the situation, the attackers, rather the abductors, these kidnappers, and the people who are really in charge of this kidnapping, and the abduction of kids, it has really gone, worse, because there's some time back that they did get to attack some soldiers, rather the government soldiers, and 70 people they were dead, 78 people if I'm not wrong. And today it is being confirmed that Nigerian state has shut down the markets because of the attacks that have been really going on, and it's really going crazy. And of course, I was just talking the other day whereby I was saying that it's high time the African nations get to rise up and come together and give out ideas on how to calm a situation, because I do believe if such a case was really happening here in Kenya, personally, I don't know how we'd really be living, because it is such an intense moment. And of course, even kids are paranoid, parents are paranoid all the time. Of course, you don't know each and every time, as much as the government did allow them to have weapons, it's still not enough for you to protect yourself. They still need more out of that. It's like me being given a gun to protect myself, but the attackers who are coming, they are more than 20, or rather more than 5. How am I going to defend myself with a gun which has maybe 1 or 2 bullets out of it? So at the end of the day, personally, I think African nations should come together and be able to help out each other, because this crisis is rising up, and it's becoming so crisis, or rather so intense at the end of the day. So it's been reported that authorities in the northwestern Nigerian state of Zamfara have banned some economic activities in a bid to tackle armed criminal gangs carrying out killings and kidnappings, or for ransoms and the cattle theft. It has become also reached to a point where they're even stealing cattle. And the ransom, the people who are delivering the ransoms, we've also seen that some time back. When they deliver the ransoms, they also end up being abducted. But I do hope that the African nations they're gonna be able to see what is really happening. They say help a brother, help a sister outside here. Why do you keep on making the African proverbs, or making some wise says, why you don't even practice them? It's also been reported that the state government has announced the closure of all weekly markets, and they restricted to use motorbikes from dusk to dawn. It has also banned the transportation of livestock outside the state, while those bringing them, it must be investigated to determine the genuineness of the livestock. The weekly open air markets are usually operated in rural areas where people gather to transact on basic goods, including food items, livestock, farm inputs, and textiles. The authorities have also ordered petrol stations not to sell more than 10,000 naira, that is $24 and 18 euros, worth the fuel to commercial drivers at the given time. The authorities believe the armed gangs take advantage of these economic activities to facilitate their violent attacks on communities. So at the end of the day, this is an effect. It's more than a pandemic, or rather the corona, how the COVID has really affected, because you can see the matters of how the kidnappers are right now even ensuring that people do not really have peace in Nigeria. And we're asking ourselves, for how long is this really going to go on? The government of Nigeria it's incapable of being able to handle peace itself. So personally, my suggestion is, I don't know about you as you interact with us, I think that the African governments need to come together and be able to help out each other, because this issue, if it was in the same state, rather in our country, I don't know how good our president might have handled the situation. But personally, it's high time that, my thought, African leaders and African nations should come up together to be able to solve this out issue. Because when it comes to a point whereby people are not even able to run their own businesses, considering even the COVID has really affected people in so many ways, especially economic wise, as I was saying earlier, it is really, really crazy. And you don't even know for how long this matter is going to be, conducted, or for how long the government is going to say that the issue, should still keep on going on, or rather they should not be able to go to the market, they should not, be able to remove their livestock outside, they should not sell food items, farm equipment, not the textiles. So it is really, really, effective, especially to Nigeria. So I'm praying peace and love, to the Nigerian people, and I do hope that things are gonna be okay at the end of the year, or rather before the end of the year, and I do hope everything is going to be fine. In other matters, news where he was saying that he doesn't want to see Zambians starving, or rather going hungry in his country. And I was just asking, is it the same personally, my own thought, is it the same manifesto they make to us, or is it that let me just get the whole story and I'll be able to read it here on the Black Hot Fire Radio. Please do remember to keep on interacting with us. As I said, we are live right now on our Instagram page. We are also live and interactive on our Facebook account at the Black Hot Fire Network radio station, on Twitter as well, as it is the hashtag Pan African Bliss with Joey and hashtag Black Hot Fire Network. You can also tell us how was your weekend, because that is what we are. The weekend is all about. You keep on saying the weekend is all about interacting with families and connecting with your friends. Okay. This third wave. Connecting with your friends, and at the end of the day, I hope you had a fantastic one. Speaking of the matters of the weekend, yesterday there was a serious accident, and this is where we get to say that how you spend your weekend really matters, or the people you really hang out with. Yesterday, 5 people lost their lives because of the this hypertension, too much hype, or rather, where you're engaging with different friends, and there's too much hype, whereby you're, how do we say it in English, like kuchochana, you're hyping each other too much, in such a situation where you end up, occurring, rather facing a road accident. So it has been reported that 5 victims, rather 5 young men, died out of a road accident because of they were so hyped because of a birthday party. And this is why I just to advise someone young out there, however you spend your time with your friends, be it in a, it's a birthday, be it's a celebration, ensure that you are doing it in a way that it won't lead you to losing your life, because this is super crisis, or rather, super really effective, and that is what is happening. So we're going to take a short musical break, then when we come back, I'll be leading you to the story of Zambia as I get the whole details on what is really happening on the Zambia, or rather what Akainde Chilema wants for his country. This is the Pan-African Bliss Show. My name is Joby, and of course, I'll be playing you Superstar by the one and only Paul the Raj.
Exclusive for BSC
I was a superstar. I was a superstar. Nesebaya, Magelo, you say I'm meeting the Sochija Pomonga Popala. Manjogai was Nakala Super Chipura, Naranda Magasina, Super Chipura, Super Chipura, Super Chipura, Wasanga Masaranitaba, Super Chipura, Super Chipura, Super Chipura, Amule Masaranisia, Super Chipura, Super Chipura, Super Chipura. super chipura, inena kala, super chipura, nendo sirira tu super chipura. Nati, there's a big fire, what's a little silver, inena bigger. Nabagele betutumba, andalama wakwela. Ndisi, nawamayoni palaiti, wakuna jana. Lega superstar, nakala super chipura, super chipura. Ile nakala super chipura, super chipura, super chipura. Wasanga wasanga itaba, super chipura, super chipura.
Yes, I superstar by the one and only called the Raj. Playing here on the Black Hot Fire Radio Media for the 21st century. And of course, you are listening to the Pan African Bliss Show. My name is Joby. 14 minutes past 12 in Nairobi. And of course, the sun is super hot here. And please do remember to interact with us on our Facebook account at the Black Hot Fire Network radio station, on Twitter at the Black Hot Fire Network, as well as use the hashtag Pan African Bliss with Joby and hashtag Black Hot Fire Network. Do remember we are also live and interactive. We actually live on our Instagram page. Hey, today I'm really nasema sana nashema. Yeah, I'm really struggling a lot, but that is maybe some weekend effect. Nonetheless, I did get to mention a little bit of the story from Zambia, and of course, the Zambian president has said that he is really going to sack out of the military and the police chiefs, and he doesn't want any. He said that the security chiefs must respect the human rights and the freedoms, because we've seen for so long so many people, rather the police and the military people, it reaches to a point where they even have so much power even than the president himself. They have so much power in such a way they cannot even listen to whatever the president really gets to say. We did get to see this sometime back here on the 254 when the matters of the COVID really came about, and people were told to get into their houses on time. You don't need to conduct your businesses at this time. You need to ensure that you do this and this and this, whatever the government really tells you. But it reached to a point where even people began losing their lives because of being beaten so bad. And of course, we did get to see Urul even addressing the issue. But the police, it reaches to a point where they have so much power. I can just say so. Even right now, we did get to see some time back where people were, protesting for peace, because youths have been, they're being killed innocently because you have drugs, because you are out past curfew, maybe 10 minutes after, but no one really gets to ask you, why is it that you have done this and this at the end of the day? So I do hope that the matters of peace in Zambia and, the people who are going to be elected, they're going to be able to run the country. I'm really wishing the best to Zambia at the end of the day. I do hope that everything gets to turn out well. Getting to the major topic of today, I was talking about how the African nations are really failing. And of course, we did get to see, starting with Uganda, how they did get to accept, are taking in the refugees. And of course, we don't know for how long, rather how many countries yet are yet to be commanded by the US government to take in these refugees from different countries, or rather to take in some commands and demands from the US government. So personally, I think Africans are really failing, as especially the leaders. We know the leaders, yes, they're being controlled and everything, but personally, it's high time, we keep on saying this, but no action is really done. And I do love the fact that the youth are really waking up, because it starts with us, and we are the most affected people. The other day, I did get to see that, I did get to see a certain post. Let me just, be able to share with you on the screen. I did get to bump into a post where youth were saying that it's high time that they fight for their lives, because it is really becoming super effective, whereby, their lives, they're being taken for granted. Having dread, it's a crime, or rather becoming a musician or an artist, it's also sort of a crime. Or rather, you conducting your business, even having a motorbike, sometimes it is also a crime. So the youth did get to say that they are going to strike, because the matters of their lives is really at stake, and I totally agree. So personally, as a nation, or rather as an African continent, it's also high time we lose our fear, for these people to lose their powers. We gain our powers as well, because I don't remember kids telling me we are the government. The government doesn't work for me. I don't work for the government. They work for me. And I am the government, especially, because at the end of the day, we are the ones who are giving out these people power. So personally, my major issue of today is, which goes directly to the Liberian side. So it is reported that the US government has too much anger, because Liberia has the matters of power theft and unpaid bills. And of course, we know so many African countries have been depending on the US for different sources in matters of powers, in matters of materials, in matters of different resources. And of course, I'll be sharing a video also as we get to dig deeper on this. But it's also been reported that Liberia's power distribution firm has lost $220 million US dollars in the last 5 years alone, thanks to the cartel stealing electricity and unpaid bills. US ambassador did declare so. The US, let me just get it out. The US is post war Liberia's biggest donor in the energy sector. 6 years ago, it spent more than 250 million US dollars on the rehabilitation of the country's hydroelectric plant, and that has been destroyed during the 14 years of the civil war. Personally, I am not even blaming I'm not even blaming the US government. I'm blaming the African countries, because we have all the raw materials. We have everything, as we keep on saying each and every day. We have everything. Why is it that we have to keep on going outside depending on people? And why is it that the other day I did get to see where people were questioning Dr. Mombi on us allowing the African American people coming back to our countries, or rather coming back to Africa. And this is because, especially with the knowledge that they have over there, or rather with the crisis that they are undergoing over there, if they come here and we get to unite together, we're going to be able to come to figure out this kind of issues and be able to solve them. Because if it reaches to see this kind of a matter whereby you are depending on someone and they end up threatening you because of what you are really doing, or because of how you really be depending on them, then it means even the lives of the citizen in the country, they're also at stake. So I'll be sharing a video, a little bit by Dr. Mombi, and of course a little bit by the one and only Professor Lumumba, as we get to relate on the story, how they are really talking on the matters of Africa. And I do hope that you enjoy this one as you keep on interacting with us. As I said, we are live and interactive on our Instagram page right now, and we are live. And also you can call us in and SMS us or WhatsApp us at the +254-754-402-730 as you tell us how was your weekend and how are you finding the topic of today, and how are you enjoying the show of today. So this is the video. Let me just share with you.
And he who pays the piper, the old saying goes, calls the tune. So you had an African intelligentsia who, to use that neo-Marxist term, and I'm saying this is neo-Marxist, I'm not myself a Marxist, but they were and could be described as the comprador bourgeois. And these comprador bourgeois continue to operate in Africa under different guises. You find them in NGOs, you find them in governments, and I dare say that they are the fifth columnists via which these Western organizations and Western powers continue to operate in the continent of Africa. And of course, as Marx once said, the safety of this comprador bourgeois demands that the masses of the people be kept in the most profound ignorance. And what do, these individuals? In order to sustain their agenda, they have now perfected the art of mobilizing their citizens who are ordinarily people from their ethnic groups. The mobilization of ethnic groups and the creation of political parties which do not have the character of political parties, they have no ideological anchors, is what now creates problems in Africa, amongst many other things. And I dare say in many African countries, there are no political parties as are understood in different parts of the world. The political parties we have are actually ethnic enclaves, led by, depending on which country one is talking about, low voltage ethnic warlords, whose only desire is to seek political office for nothing else other than material aggrandizement. In the minds of these men and women, in certain cases, The only agenda that they have is that they must seek and seize the instruments of the state and use them for personal benefit. And that is why we talk about the concept of the prebendal state, where the agenda of those who get into political power is to share state revenue, and is only the crumbs that are available for the general population.
Just before we continue, personally, my thought as he, addresses this issue, considering what is happening in Liberia, and of course what is also happening in Uganda, we've also seen it in the 254. So many African countries we are drowning because we are depending on the US, government, on the Europeans, so much on the Asians, because we are not getting any benefit out of it. As much as our leaders are getting benefit out of it, even as a country, we are failing. And that is why you can see, even in matters of development, no African country is all. I can't even say there's any African country which is leading in development. Let me just check that one out actually and confirm which African country is leading in development, because we did get to see some time back when we were looking at Chad here on the Rhythm Scoop show, and we did get to see the matters of development is really, really poor. And you see so many leaders get into powers and they want to keep on extending their terms, becoming presidents or rather becoming leaders. But when they die, or rather when they are out of the seat, there's nothing that they are really made out of the power that they had, or rather the leading that they have been, the authority that they have been given. So let me just check this one out. Which African country is leading in development? Which African country is leading in development? Seychelles. They're claiming that it's Seychelles, and let me just check it out. They're saying that Seychelles is Africa's most developed country with an HDI of 801, just making the very high human development. It is also being said that Algeria is the second one, then Tunisia, then Botswana, then we have Libya, then we have 45 more. And personally, my gender issue is, just as I conclude, rather, just get into terms with whatever Professor Lumumba is really addressing. So many of our African countries are failing because of we are not benefiting. We think we are benefiting from the US, from looking up onto the Mzungu to give us the resources and everything, but we are failing. They are the ones who are benefiting from our raw materials, from our natural resources, from everything that we have, from our mentality itself. So
when you are operating in an environment such as that, then you must know that conflict is always knocking at your door, if it is not in fact sitting in your very sitting room. And I dare say that that is where Africa now finds herself. In the recent past, of course, we have seen the emergence of China. China has come into the African scene like a juggernaut. It has come in the nature of a Trojan horse. It comes with goodies in the forms of railways, in the forms of stadia, in the form of roads, in the form of development of ports and other things which are visible and which can then be waved to the gullible electorate as constituting development. And in that way, China has entered the hearts and minds of very many African leaders. And today, there are very few African countries which are not under the beck and call of China. Has it ever been lost on you? Have you ever not wondered why it is that Africa, with our 54, 55 countries, depending on whether Morocco agrees that Sahrawi is a country or not, why it is that it's only African countries that periodically once a year are summoned to Beijing, and all of them run to Beijing to be addressed by one leader of China? Have you ever wondered why it is only Africa whose leaders are summoned to Tokyo to be addressed by the Prime Minister of Japan? Have you ever wondered why African leaders are the only ones who are summoned to Washington to be addressed by the leader of the United States? Have you ever wondered why African leaders are the only ones that are summoned to Moscow to be addressed by the president of Russia? Have you ever wondered why Africans are the only leaders who are summoned to Germany to be addressed by the Chancellor of Germany? Have you ever wondered why African leaders are the only ones who are summoned to New Delhi to be addressed by the Prime Minister of India? Have you ever wondered why Africans are the only ones who are summoned to the Arab world to be addressed by the King of Qatar? It is because Africa is the theater. Africa is the home of resources, and African leaders are mere marionettes and puppets who are manipulated to the detriment of the people. That is not to say that there are no exceptions in Africa. There are few African leaders who have tried to speak up. And in this regard, I never forget the late John Joseph Pombe Magufuli. I never forget Paul Kagame. I never forget occasionally Hage Geingob. And occasionally in his younger days, of course, I never forget Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And in his younger and better days, Robert Mugabe. And of course, there were others in the period before this period, which I'm talking about now. But the truth is that the Africa that I'm talking about is an Africa that is in a crisis of monumental proportions, which then legitimizes for me to ask the question again: what is the source of African conflicts? Let us remember that conflict is a multi-billion-dollar industry. If you look at the economies of countries that look innocent, such as Sweden, and look at what brings money to their economies is weapons. If you look at the economies of most countries in Europe and America, and what injects money to the economy is weaponry, small arms, and other things. And in order for these industries to remain alive, conflicts must be manufactured. Africans must be made to fight, to engage in fratricidal wars. And we can see these fratricidal wars in Ethiopia now. We see fratricidal wars in Sudan. We see fratricidal wars in Southern Sudan. We see fratricidal wars in the Democratic Republic of Congo, fratricidal wars in Mozambique, fratricidal wars in Cameroon and in Amazonia, fratricidal wars in Mali, in Nigeria, in Buso, in Mauritania, in Libya, and in many parts of Africa. And when these wars are being prosecuted, money is being made in the billions. And you must also know that poverty is also a multi-billion-dollar industry. And as long as you ensure that Africans are wallowing in the muck and mire of poverty, you can engage in humanitarian action, and in that way you continue to sustain Western organizations. War and poverty are multi-billion-dollar industries. But does it mean that we ourselves are free of guilt? No, we are co-authors of our own misfortune. The misfortune of Africa is that our men and women who have had the honor and privilege of presiding over our affairs post-independence, except for a very few of them, have been men and women who have no agenda for the continent. They are men and women who want to occupy political office for personal aggrandizement, as I said. They are men and women whose only desire is to lord it over their people. They are men and women who are possessed by the spirit of egotism and megalomania. They are men and women who have no vision for their country. They are men and women who are myopic. They are men and women who do not want to address the critical problems of food, the critical problems of health. They are men and women who, as we have seen during this pandemic, cannot lead their countries to embrace science. They are men and women who, instead of embracing technology, are engaging in embracing theology, not knowing that the problems of technology cannot be solved by theology. We cannot pray into action that which we can acquire through science. So Africa can only liberate herself when she realizes genuinely that her future not only demands but requires that she must stop and pause and ask herself what is our trajectory. Africa must get into a clear understanding that her present structures are not going to solve our problems. You cannot pour new wine in old wineskins. Organizations which are in a suspended state of animation, such as the African Union, must be revamped and reorganized if Africa is to know and to realize our potential. I know that in the recent past we have come up with projections and schemes such as Africa Agenda 2063, and there is nothing wrong with the promises of Africa Agenda 2063. I know that we have the African Continental Free Trade Area, and there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with the Maputo Protocol. There is nothing wrong with the Malabo Protocol. There is nothing wrong with the Kigali Protocol. There is nothing wrong with all those initiatives. But what I know is that mere pronouncements in and of themselves without accompanying and deliberate action which is informed by the desire to change the continent in a dramatic way is not going to help us solve our problems. So we can blame European Union all we want. We can blame China all we want. We can blame the United Kingdom all we want. We can blame the United States all we want. But we must also remember that we have contributed to our own misfortune. Is it not the case that when we were fighting for independence through our fathers, we gave ourselves a promise that we needed independence in order to demonstrate to the world that we had the intellectual wherewithal to run our affairs? Did we not tell ourselves that our independence was more than our national anthems, more than our flags, more than our mottos, and that we would not allow our imposed boundaries to stand in the way of our creative unity? Did we not tell ourselves that? Did we not tell ourselves that we were going to ensure that our people would have good health facilities? Did not tell ourselves that we were going to fight ignorance through education, through science and innovation? Did we not tell ourselves that we were going to feed ourselves by having agriculture that is sound and is not rain dependent? Did we not tell ourselves that we were going to use our resources? Did we not tell ourselves that Africa was going to be liberated? We told ourselves those things, but because, as Chinua Achebe rightly said in 1983, the problem of Africa is simply and squarely a problem of leadership, and I dare say even that of followership. Because we who are the voters, we who are in the majority, we have allowed ourselves to create monsters unto ourselves. We have allowed those who stand in positions of leadership to think that they are demigods. And when you have treated people as demigods for too long, they now suffer from the martyr complex. They now suffer from the Messiah complex. And they think that we are mere marionettes and puppets to be manipulated. And they consume all the things that we want to consume. Africa will only liberate herself from the day that we realize that the problems of Africa can only be solved by ourselves. But we must wake up and be prepared to roll our sleeves. And when we do that, and do that in a sustainable and undisciplined manner, Africa will stop blaming others and begin to use our monumental resources for the benefit of the continent. It can be done, it must be done, and it is only you who can do it. As Julius Kambarage Nyerere famously said, it can be done, play your part. And as the Osagie Kwame Nkrumah famously said, we cannot solve these problems by looking east or west, we must look forward. Thank you very much.
And that is it. And I want to appreciate Professor Lumumba for giving such a great sentiments concerning our African people, because at the end of the day, that is what it is. We are failing because, we are giving these people power out of what they're really not doing. The leaders are also giving the Europeans power out of us gaining nothing as an African continent. You look at the matters of development, we are really still dragging behind. You look at the matters of food, how people are really dying out of anger, and no one is really talking about it. They just keep on bluffing their mouths, and nothing is really out, done importantly, especially to the people who are living in the Marsabit, in the Maasai, and so many regions here in Kenya, and of course even in other continents of the Africa. But at the end of the day, it's high time, as he said, we have to look forward, because it's our lives which are being affected, not theirs. It's our lives which are at stake at the end of the day. General Mosquito, peace and love unto you as well. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Karibu sana. But we are almost winding up, and I can see you saying that I see we now on IG as well. Cool. Yeah, we are Instagram. We are live right now, and I hope that you are getting me right and clear as you get to interact with me. Nonetheless, we are almost winding up, and I want to appreciate everyone who has joined us. General Mosquito, I hope you had a fantastic weekend. And please do remember also to catch us next on we have the African Diary, we also have the Rhythm Scoop Show, we also have the 254 to Jadili Show, and please do remember to interact with us still concerning this the same matters. Nonetheless, I want to say thank you to who is this Mwarabu Moody. I want to say also thank you to Robert Williams. Thank you for keeping it the Blackout Fire Network, and also to the rest of the family who have been watching. Thank you for taking your time for being here, and I want to appreciate you. General Mosquito, thank you as well. Thank you for joining us. Although we are winding up, I want to appreciate you. I'll be winding the song, or rather the session of today, with this amazing banger. It was released last week on Friday, if I'm not wrong, by the one and only Don Jazzy and the one and only Banner Boy. As you get to enjoy this one, keep it the Blackout Fire Network. For now, I want to say kwaherini.
This is Blackout Fire Radio.
I can say, General Mosquito, you're saying that you was just watching this music video this morning. Lol. Okay, I see you, and I want to appreciate you. Though you didn't say anything, I want to appreciate you for saying something at the end of the show, and I want to appreciate you also for taking your time. Someone is saying hi, Joby, and we are winding up. You came in late, but I want to appreciate you for also taking your time for being here. Remember, we also have the African Diary on Kate's show. You can join her as well, as you get to see what she's all about, and of course, as you engage with that. Nonetheless, for me, I want to say kwaherini.
Decline like a helicopter. Never the grace of God and in the shine. Question, but then you get the answer. Question, but then you get the answer. Question, but then you get the answer.
This is Blackout Fire Radio. 21st century.
Why you gotta do me like this? Why you gotta do me like this? Why you gotta do me like this? See, because I know God. Oh baby, why you If I'm not just a friend, if you know now I need to know if I got a chance on you. Don't waste no time. Don't be down. Don't waste no time. Oh, no, no. Don't be down. Michelle, Michelle. She's a young man's dog. Michelle, Michelle, Michelle. She's too fine now. Michelle. You're the only one for me. And you know you're the only one for me. You're the only one for me. Baby, you're the only one for me. So don't do it like that. Don't do that thing.